this is my name, Marshall Valles. This is for my assignment for Immigration and Native in the Gilded Age. The first question, analyze the pictures historically, explaining their historical contents, the intentions of the authors, the message put forth, and the objections brought to the opposed immigrations. Also, take note of ethnic, religious, and other cultural stereotypes to use to convey the messages. Okay. The first picture is, Uncle Sam in the border of the New York, of the islands, of Elias Islands, and some of these people say mafia, socialists. People would be denied of those islands because they had either medical diseases or they had criminal records, so people weren't allowed to come into the U.S. due to those reasons, and as it says in the chapter here. Let me just find it. Because most people were coming for the push-pull factor, the fact that the land of the free in the northern, and many immigrants were coming to the north because of, work and education, but many of them couldn't, and many of them couldn't pass the Elias Island because, they had a criminal record or they had medical diseases. So, doctors and nurses inspected immigrants upon arrival looking for any signs of infectious diseases. Most immigrants were admitted to the country with only a cursory glance of paperwork. Roughly 2% of the arriving immigrants were denied entry due to a medical condition or criminal history. The dangers of the IDS institution, the raft immigration, there was about 9 million people, roughly a lot of people between the 1860s and to the 1900s. Maybe the 1910s, where there was a lot of immigration in the U.S. The literacy test was a literacy test about, testing the immigrants, whether they could read, write, or speak, or the language, any of that. Like, the literacy test was to test the immigrants and their knowledge and who they are, and if they have any decent skills, because many of these immigrants were criminals, or they had diseases, or many were just looking for jobs and they were poor, whatever it may be. This one, I don't really know about this one, about the Bible and history, but that also, that could also mean, like, how many of these people that were coming to the U.S. brought their religion with them, that most of them practice Catholicism and Judaism. It says here, the report put in simply, these newer immigrants looked and acted differently. They had darker skin tones, spoke languages with which most Americans were unfamiliar, and practiced unfamiliar religions, specifically Judaism and Catholicism. Many of those immigrants came to the U.S. and spoke different languages. But question 2, point out important differences and similarities between nativism, anti-immigrants, and at the turn of the 19th century. A lot of the difference, pardon me, a lot of the differences is like from nativism to now. It's like now a lot of people are allowed into the U.S. A lot of people can come here. A lot of people can come to the U.S. and a lot of people are able to come here without having to pass any exams or tests. For example, like before, like when those times, people were denied to come here because they had criminal records or they had diseases, whatever it may be. But people now in this day and age, they can come here, and it's a little bit, more freer. People can come here, not just anybody, but they could get passports and they could come here. But yes, that is my assignment for this test. This exam. This test. This assignment.